Hello student. Today we will start your unit number 1 of the subject digital circuits. So name of your unit number 1, that is nothing but the digital logic family. Okay. So logic family means the study of different types of digital ICs. In your practicals you have already studied 74LS08, 74LS32, then 74SC00. So all these are the different types of digital ICs. Okay. So study of different types of ICs can be implemented by using logical families. Okay. So we will discuss in detail what are different types of digital ICs, that is called TTL, CMOS, ECL, what are its characteristics, then how to design a two-input TTL NAND gate, then how to design two-input CMOS NAND gate NOR gate by using a transistor that is called BJT and the FET or MOSFET. Okay, so so types of logical families, that means types of digital ICs. So if you are going to look here, your logic families or digital ICs are classified into two parts. One is nothing but the bipolar logic families, and second one is nothing but the unipolar logic family. Bipolar logic family means what? The construction of the typical IC can be done by using the BJT, because BJT is nothing but the bipolar device. Then the construction of the typical IC can be done by using the FET or MOSFET. That's why it is called a unipolar logic families. There are two types of logical families. One is called bipolar logic family, and second one is nothing but the unipolar logic family. Depending upon the which type of transistor is used, according to that it is classified. That is called bipolar logic family and the unipolar logic family. Meaning that in case of bipolar logic family, BJT is used, while in case of unipolar, either FET or MOSFET is used. Okay. Then as per this case, this is called BJT. That's why it's called bipolar logic family. So again, this is classified into two different parts. One is called a saturated logic family, and second one is the non-saturated logic family. Saturated logic family means what? As per the concept of your transistor, transistor is always goes with the saturation, then cutoff, and then active region. In case of bipolar logic family, if the transistor is always goes into the saturation, that logic family is basically called as a saturated logic family. For example, RTL, DTL, TTL. RTL means what? Register transistor logic. DTL means what? Diode transistor logic. TTL means what? Transistor logic. But all these logic families are very older one. Right? Actually, nobody use saturated logic family. The reason is that if the transistor is always goes into saturation or cutoff, it affects the speed. That is, speed of operation will be smaller one in case of your saturated logic family. Second type of this one, bipolar logic family, is called as a non-saturated logic family. In case of non-saturated logic family, your BJT never goes into saturation. That means it is always switched from cutoff to active, active to cutoff. Okay, that means BJT never goes into the saturation. Hence, such type of logic family is basically called as a non-saturated logic family. For example, this is nothing but the Schottky TTL. Okay, this is TTL, transistor logic, but this is called Schottky TTL. We will come to that point. What is exactly meaning of Schottky? Okay, and why it is required in case of non-saturated logic family. So Schottky TTL is an example of your non-saturated logic family. So this is the fastest as compared to saturated. Okay, so TTL and Schottky TTL, if you are going to compare the speed, Schottky TTL is faster as compared to normal TTL. I will call it a standard TTL. Okay, because in this case transistor goes into saturation, while in this case transistor that is called BJT never goes into the saturation. For example, Schottky TTL, and this is called the ECL. This is very important logic family. ECL means what? Emitter couple logic family. Okay, and this is ECL is the fastest logic family as compared to all these ones, saturated and the non-saturated one. So this is called the fastest logic family, where propagation delay is less than 1 nanosecond is always possible. That means, as I said earlier, in case of non-saturated logic family, this is the speed of operation is faster one. But in case of ECL, emitter coupled logic family, propagation delay is less than 1 nanosecond is possible according to the construction of your ECL family. Okay, that's why ECL is the fastest logic family as compared to Schottky TTL and the remaining saturated logic family. Then second one, in terms of unipolar logic family, because the construction can be done by using either FET or MOSFET, because FET or MOSFET is a unipolar device. Okay, so the first part of this unipolar logic family is nothing but the NMOS. that is called NMOS transistor, then PMOS transistor, then a PMOS transistor. A combination of your NMOS and PMOS is nothing but the CMOS. Okay, so this is nothing but the combination of your NMOS and PMOS that can be able to obtain, that is called the CMOS. And CMOS is nothing but a complementary metal oxide semiconductor. Okay, there are, always keep in mind, there are two types of logic family. One is nothing but a TTL and second one is nothing but the CMOS. CMOS means what? Complementary metal oxide semiconductor, and TTL for transistor logic. Okay, so TTL and CMOS are the basic two different types of logic families are there, depending upon which type of transistor they are going to use for the construction of typical IC. Okay, so so this is called CMOS. As I said earlier, this is called complementary metal oxide semiconductor. So major advantage of this CMOS, that means it has a very low power consumption or very low power dissipation. Okay, while TTL is faster as compared to CMOS, so we will come to that point. But if we are going to compare, there is CMOS, TTL, and ECL. So ETL is nothing but the emitter coupled logic family, and this is the fastest logic family as compared to TTL and CMOS. So we will come to discuss why is ECL is the fastest logic family as compared to TTL and CMOS when we will discuss the different parameters or characteristics of TTL and the CMOS. Okay. So this is the most important to understand because there are two types of ICs, TTL and CMOS. Okay. So these are the important parameters of the particular logical families. So everybody knows how to look the particular ICs because you already performed different practicals on the particular kits in first year. So this is called the general structure of any ICs. Okay. So if you are going to look the IC structure, it consists of whether it is a 8-pin IC, 14-pin IC, 16-pin IC, 21-pin ICs, and number of ICs are available. Then according to that, there are some how to identify this is pin number 1 and this is the pin number last one. Okay. So if you keep your IC in front of your eyes, there is one notch is there. Okay. So that notch indicate left hand side pin is nothing but a pin number 1 and the right hand side pin is nothing but the last pin. So for this case, this is the identification to identify pin number 1 and pin number last one of the particular IC. So this is pin number 1, this is pin number 12, this is pin number 13, this is pin number 24. Okay, this is for 24 pin DIP. DIP means what? Dwell-in package. Okay, so we will look here. So dwell-in package has a pins leads down the two long sides of the particular rectangle package. This is called rectangle package. The notch on the one end is used to locate the pin number 1. As I said earlier, if you are going to look this IC, this notch is there. So left hand side, the first pin is nothing but the pin number 1, and this is the pin number last one. Some dwell-in package use small dots on the locate of pin 1. So this is the one way to identify the pin number 1. Otherwise, some ICs have some small dot here that indicate this is the pin number 1, this is pin number last one. All logic gates ICs are 14 pin. That means whatever the practicals you are going to perform the first year, that is called study of different types of logical gates and to verify suitable. So all the logical gates have only 14 pin IC. Out of that, pin number 1 is nothing but the inputs, and pin number 7 is nothing but the ground, and pin number 14 is nothing but the VCC. So you should always keep in mind that means all the logical gate IC, whether it is a 74LS00, 74LS32, 74LS 8674LS04, all the logical ICs are basically called as a 14 pin ICs. Okay, but there are some ICs are there that can be 16 pin ICs, 24 pin ICs, 32 pin ICs, and like that one, or 40 pin ICs. Okay, so how to identify? Suppose you are consider one IC. If you are going to look the name of the particular IC, it will be written on the particular IC like this. Then suppose it indicate N74LS00. So how to identify the type of this IC, how to identify the name of the IC, and how to identify what is the characteristic of the particular IC or what is the manufacturing company of the particular IC. So each package consists of a contain a code of identifying the package. Okay. Suppose I have considered one IC that is called DM74LS32. Okay, then SN74SC86, N74ALS00, N74LS04, DM74SCT08, SN74SC04. Okay, so these are the name which is written on the particular IC. So how to identify this is the TTL IC and how to identify this is CMOS IC. Okay. Now suppose, for example, suppose it indicate N74LS00. So first this number or this word EN, that is, suppose this is a DM, this is a N, or suppose for that case there are a number of suffix are there. So that indicate the manufacturing company's name or code. In this case, this S indicate the national semiconductor. That means this is a manufacturing company of the particular IC. This IC is constructed by this national semiconductor. Instead of this N, suppose it indicate SN. So this is nothing but a Signetic. Okay, this is the manufacturing company's name. DM, if you are going to look here, so this DM indicate this is a Motorola. Okay, so this is called the first manufacturing company's name. Then this is 74 series. Okay, so you should always keep in mind, as I said earlier, there are two types of ICs. One is called TTL and second is CMOS. So TTL and CMOS ICs are always start from the 74 series. We will come to that point why it is called 74 series. Okay, basically 74 series is applicable for TTL. Then again 54 series is applicable for TTL, while the 40 series is applicable for CMOS. But if you are going to combine or interface TTL CMOS, that is called standard TTL, standard CMOS, we can able to design a new product, and that new product we are giving the same name, that is called 74 series. We will come to that point in detail when we discuss the different parameters, okay, and different comparisons of TTL and CMOS. But you should always keep in mind this 74 series is applicable for TTL and 74 series is applicable for CMOS also, depending upon the sub-logic families. Okay, so this 74 is nothing but a specification. This can be able to apply for TTL and this can be able to apply for CMOS. I will come to that point why it is so. Then this is LS. This plays very important role. Okay, so this LS is nothing but the low power Schottky, and this is nothing but the sub-logic families of the particular TTL. This is sub-logic families of the particular TTL. LS stand for low power Schottky. We will discuss in detail what is exactly meaning of a Schottky transistor or Schottky diode. And then this is a sub-logic families of the particular TTL. So L for low power, this is low power Schottky, high speed. Same thing. If you are going to look here, SN74SC86. SN means what? Signetic. 74 series is applicable for either TTL or CMOS. Now we can able to identify whether the TTL IC or CMOS IC. In this case, this LS stand for nothing but a low power Schottky. So this is a sub-logic families of the TTL. The type of this IC is nothing but a TTL IC. Okay. But if you are going to consider same thing with respect to this case, that is called SN74SC86. SN stand for Signetic, 7 stand for the particular series that can be applicable for TTL as well as CMOS, but this SC stand for high speed CMOS. High speed CMOS. We will come to that point. So this is nothing but a CMOS IC because it is for high speed CMOS. So SC is nothing but the sub-logic families of the particular CMOS IC. This is called CMOS IC. This is for TTL IC that can be able to obtain the different sub-logic families they are going to use. So in this case, LS stand for low power Schottky, hence it is called TTL. In this case, this is called SC, that's why it's called CMOS. And these last two suffix or digits, that is 00, that indicate the particular number. Okay. So in this case, this 00 indicate COD to input NAND gate. Now suppose I will call what is the name of 74LS08. Okay, 74LS08 or 74LS08. So everybody is giving the answer. This is the AND gate. That is 74LS08. I'm talking. Suppose 74LS08. Everybody is talking the name of the IC is nothing but a AND gate. This is absolutely wrong. Okay. The proper name of the particular 74LS08 is called. This is called COD to input AND gate. Same thing. This is called 74LS00. This is called COD to input NAND gate. Meaning that in a single IC there are 4 gates of 2 inputs. That is a NAND gate. In a single IC there are 4 NAND gates of 2 inputs. Hence the name of the particular IC is called COD to input NAND gate. So 00 indicate 2 input NAND gate. That's why it's called COD to input NAND gate. Now if I apply this is 02, COD to input NOR gate. If I replace this one 04, so it becomes hex inverter. Why it is called hex inverter? That is called, suppose this is N74LS04. So this is called hex inverter. Okay, because in a single IC there are total 6 inverter. Okay, so that's why it's called the hex inverter. Now if I replace this one, it's called dual 4 input NAND gate. That is, if I replace 20, so it is called dual 4 input NAND gate. Same thing, you can able to give the proper name. Suppose I will ask what is the name of 74LS32. So DM indicate, this is a Motorola 7 indicate. This is the TTL or CMOS, but LS stands for low power Schottky. The type of this IC is nothing but the TTL, and 32 is nothing but the quad to input OR gate. So what is the type of this IC? This is called TTL. What is the name of this IC? This is called quad to input OR gate. Same thing, 74SC86. What is the type of this IC? This is called CMOS IC because this SC stands for high speed CMOS, sub-logic families of the particular CMOS IC. 86 is nothing but a quad to input or XOR gate. Okay, same thing. So this is nothing but the how to identify the particular IC. Logic family. What is exactly meaning of your logic family? As I said earlier, logic family means what? The study of different types of digital ICs. So it is a group of compatible IC with the same logic level and the supply voltage for performing the various logical functions. So what are different logical functions? So they have been fabricated using the specific circuit configuration. That means it is applicable for combinational as well as the sequential logic circuits. So depending upon the IC, how many components are there within the IC, according to that, the particular IC can be constructed using the different integration techniques. Okay, for example, suppose I will call this is the SSI. SSI means what? Small scale integration. That means in a single IC there are total 12 up to 12 discrete components are there. Medium scale integration 100 components, large scale integration up to 10,000. VLSI very large scale integration up to 1 lakhs. Then ultra large scale integration more than 1 lakhs. So these are the components they get fabricated in a single IC. So according to that, they are classified SSI, MSI, LSI, VLSI, and ultra large scale integration. Okay, so this is plays very important role, that is called the VLSI. Okay, in case of your final year, there is a separate subject that is called very large scale integration. That is nothing but the VLSI. So we will discuss in detail this subject in case of your final year. First. So what are different characteristics of digital ICs? Okay, so if we take any digital ICs, so I can able to verify the performance of digital ICs by applying different parameters or different characteristics. So what are the different characteristics or the parameters of the digital ICs? So first important parameter come to the picture, that is nothing but the fan in and the fan out. Okay, we will come to that point. Then propagation delay, then power dissipation, then the figure of merit, then power supply requirement. And this figure of merit is also called as the speed power product, operating temperature, current and voltage parameter. This plays very important role for any type of your TTL and the CMOS IC. Current and voltage parameter, fan in and the fan out. Okay. So what is exactly meaning of your fan in? So fan in means what? The number of inputs of the particular gate. The number of inputs of the particular gate is nothing but the fan in. Now, suppose I have 2 input AND gate. So for this 2 input AND gate, my fan in is nothing but 2. So it is not an electrical property. Function of the malfunctioning process can be obtained. Suppose this is a NAND gate, and for that case, NAND gate has a total 8 inputs. So fan in of the particular gate is nothing but the 8. But if this is for the gate. Now suppose I want to find the inputs of fan in of the particular IC. That means suppose I will call 74LH08. That is called quad to input AND gate IC. So fan in of this IC is called because in each IC, in this IC, there are total 4 gates of 2 inputs. So 4 multiplied by 2, that is called 8. So what is the fan in? That is called 8 of the particular IC. Okay, so fan in means what? Number of input of the particular gate is nothing but the fan in. Fan out, opposite reaction, opposite parameter as compared to fan in. So fan out is also called as the loading factor. This diagram itself gives the fan out definition. That means if I are going to look here, this is nothing but a NAND gate. NAND gate property, when both the inputs are 0, 0, it shows the output 1. Is output is 1 means this shows the output voltage 5 volts. As the maximum voltage, the maximum current is there. And that current, whatever the current will be produced at the output of this NAND gate, that current will be drive the number of gate. How many gate can be drive of the particular output current of the particular gate? So this is called a driving gate. This is called a loading gate. Okay. So at this case, what is the current is there? That current will drive the number of gates that can be able to obtain by using the fan out. Okay. So definition of fan out, it is also called as a loading factor. So this is called driving gate. This is called a loading gate. That's why it's called a loading factor. So it is defined as the maximum number of logic input that output can drive reliably. That means, as I said earlier, this is nothing but the fan out of the particular gate. Logic circuit that can specify to have 10 fan out can drive 10 logic inputs. The maximum number of standard logic inputs that an output can drive reliability. That means if I go to connect here n number, how many gates you can able to connect at the output of this gate if it produces output high. Okay, at that condition, what is the parameter you are obtaining? That is called a fan out. Fan out is also called as a loading factor. Related to the current parameter. So in case of your fan out, this current parameter plays very important role. So current parameter decides how many gate it can be able to drive at the output of your particular driver gate. So for TTL, your fan out is equal to 10, while CMOS, the fan out is equal to 50. Okay, now we will compare the standard TTL and the standard CMOS. So whenever we are consider this is standard TTL, so I will call only 7400. And whenever I will call standard CMOS, I will call this is the 4000. Okay, because as I said earlier, standard TTL series is always represented by 74 series, while the standard CMOS series is always start from 40 series. Okay, so whenever I'm going to use a typical word that is called standard TTL, standard CMOS. So standard TTL means what? 7400. I'm not going to use any single sub logic families. Okay, so for standard TTL, your fan out is equal to 10, and for standard CMOS, your fan out is equal to 50. So this is the biggest advantage of the particular CMOS IC as compared to TTL. That means more gate can be drive in case of CMOS. Again, why this fan out of the particular CMOS is more in case of TTL. The reason is same that we already compare initial state. In case of TTL, BJT is used, while in case of CMOS, that is called complementary metal oxide semiconductor, we are using the MOSFET. So current driving capacity of the particular MOSFET is more as compared to TTL. That's why the fan out of the particular CMOS is more as compared to TTL. So this is a major advantage of the CMOS over the TTL. So this is electrical characteristics. Now we will compare the TTL and the CMOS. Okay, we will start to compare from standard TTL and standard CMOS. So as I said earlier, this is a construction can be done by using BJT. So BJT is faster as compared to CMOS. So speed of operation is faster in case of TTL. So this is the biggest advantage of the particular TTL. While CMOS, as the construction can be obtained by using the MOSFET, the speed of operation is slower one as compared to TTL. The CMOS IC is slower one as compared to TTL. This is the major limitation of the particular CMOS. Okay, I'm talking about standard TTL, standard CMOS. What is the meaning of standard TTL? 7400, while CMOS 4000. Okay, so CMOS is slower as compared to TTL. TTL is faster as compared to CMOS. Second important parameter is that the power dissipation. Normally, whatever the digital circuit we are going to define or design or constructed, there are two important parameters plays very important role. One is nothing but the speed of operation, and second one is nothing but the power consumption. So in case of TTL, TTL is faster because BJT is used. But in case of BJT is used, it consists of your larger power dissipation. So BJT produces more power dissipation as compared to MOSFET. So CMOS, what is the major advantage? Power dissipation is very small as compared to TTL. So if you are going to compare TTL and CMOS, in case of TTL, major advantage is a faster one, but a major limitation that is nothing but the power dissipation is more. While in case of CMOS, the major disadvantage is nothing but the slower one speed of operation, but the advantage is nothing but the very low power consumption or power dissipation as compared to TTL. So one IC has a major advantage, one IC has a major limitation. Same thing that can be happen with TTL and CMOS. So to compensate this major advantage and disadvantage which is obtained in case of standard TTL and standard CMOS, they are going to combine or interface the TTL and CMOS to design a new product. Okay, as I said earlier, standard TTL is always represented by 74 series, while standard CMOS is always represented by 40 series. Okay, that's why they are going to design a new product by keeping the same series, that is called 74 series, but they are applying different types of sub-logic families. For example, suppose I will call 74L08. Initially for standard TTL, I am applying only 7400. But right now I'm going to apply 74L00. L for low power. L for low power. Why it is called low power? Because TTL, standard TTL, has a major limitation, that means it provides the maximum power dissipation. So in case of L, if I apply L, so it indicates lower power dissipation. Same thing, suppose this, instead of using the 40 series, if I call by keeping the same series, that is called 74, and if I call 74H00, so this is called high speed CMOS. High speed CMOS. What is the major limitation? Speed of operation. Okay, that's why these different types of sub logic families come to the picture with respect to standard TTL and the standard CMOS. Okay, we will come to that point. So logic levels of TTL. Logic levels of TTL. By using this case, we can able to obtain the different voltage and the current parameter. So I'm talking with respect to the only TTL, same parameter I can able to discuss with respect to CMOS also. So in this case, logic levels. Normally, you should always keep in mind, that means to operate the particular IC, TTL, standard TTL, I'm talking standard TTL, you should always apply the voltage which is vary from 0 to 5 volts. That means to operate the IC, I want to always apply 0 to 5 volt DC voltage. Okay, so 0 to 5 volts, up to what condition should I consider this a logic 0, and up to what condition should I consider logic 1? So these 0 to 5 volt are classified into three different parts: logic low, unacceptable or undefined, and second one is logic 1. As this is a digital electronics or digital circuits, all the operations are always operated on the either logic 0 or logic 1. So whenever I will call 5 volt, logic 1, whenever this is 0, logic 0. But this logic 0 means what? As I said earlier, the operating voltage of the particular standard TTL is called 0 to 5 volt. So up to what voltage should I consider logic 0, and up to what voltage I should consider as a logic 1. Okay, so that can be able to obtain by applying the different voltage parameter. That can be able to apply by using the different voltage parameter. If I'm going to look here, this is called VIL max. VIL max. The name itself gives, okay, this is nothing but the input profile, this is nothing but the output profile. So this is the first voltage parameter, that is called VIL max. V for voltage, I for input, L for low. Low input voltage, maximum. So how to define VIL max? Maximum value of input voltage that should be considered as a logic 0. That should be considered as a logic 0. So from here to here, 0 to 8 volt. If I consider this 0 to 8 volt, so this is a voltage level that is called a VIL. VIL means what? Maximum value of input voltage that should be considered as a logic 0 is called as a VIL max. VIL max. Okay. So 0 to 0.8 volt I will call as a logic 0. Okay. Now if I take the IC and check by the particular DMF, and if that DMF shows the output 0.6 volt, so that 0.6 volt I will consider as a logic 0. Okay. Now if I consider same thing by using DMM, and if I get the output in terms of 1.1 volt, so what is the significance of 1.1 volt? So 1.1 volt come to in this category as a unacceptable or undefined. So this is not your unacceptable. I will not call 1.1 volt as a logic 0. I will not call 1.1 volt as a logic 1. Okay, that's why the second parameter comes to the picture, that is called VIH minimum. So V stands for voltage, I for input, H for high, and this is the minimum. So minimum value of input voltage that should be considered as a logic high. Minimum value of input voltage that should be considered as a logic 1. So if it is vary from 2 to 5 volts, if it is vary from 2 to 5 volt, that voltage I will consider as a logic 1, and that parameter I will call the VIH minimum. VIH minimum. But if I get the voltage between 0.9 to 1.999, so that voltage I will consider as an undefined or unacceptable voltage. So from this graph or from this figure, we will define two important parameters, that is nothing but the VIL max, VIH minimum. VIL max means what? Maximum value of input voltage, that is called 0.8 voltage, that I will call as a logic 0. Then VIH minimum, the minimum value of input voltage that should be considered as a logic 1. So in this case, 2 volt is called as a logic 1. So this is called VIL max, this is called VIH minimum. Then another two voltage parameters are there, that is called VOL max and the VOH minimum. Okay, VOL max, as the name said, this is O stand for output, this is a low. So maximum value of output voltage that should be considered as a logic 0 is nothing but the VOL max. Maximum value of output voltage that should be considered as a logic 0. So in this case, 0 to 0.4 voltage is nothing but a logic 0. This is nothing but the value of VOL max. Then from 0.4 to 2.3 or 2.3399, this voltage I will call as unacceptable or undefined voltage. Okay, same thing like this one. Then this is called VOH minimum. Voltage output high minimum. So minimum value of output voltage that should be considered as a logic high. Minimum value of output voltage that should be considered as a logic 1 is nothing but the VOH max, VOH minimum. And that voltage range is always vary from 2.5 to 5 volts. This I'm talking with respect to standard TTL. Standard TTL means what? 7400. Okay, there is no sub logic families come to the picture. So this is called VOL max, this is called VOH minimum. VOL max means what? Maximum value of output voltage that should be considered as a logic 0. So maximum value is 0.4. VOH minimum is what? Minimum value of output voltage that should be considered as a 2.4 volt to 5 volt. Up to this range, the voltage I'm getting that is called a VOH minimum. So there are total 4 voltage parameters. What is called VIL max, VIH minimum, VOL max, and VOH minimum. Okay, but this is applicable only for standard TTL. Standard TTL means what? 7400. I'm not going to apply any sublogic families. These are the voltage parameter. As I said earlier, this is called VOH, VIH. Then same thing I can able to define the current parameter. So IOH, high level output current, the current that flows from the output in the logic 1 state under the specified load condition. I will cover that point. So this is nothing but the IOH, just like a VOH. IIH, the high level input current, the current that flows in the input when the logic 1 voltage is applied at the input of the particular gate. I will cover that point. Then this is nothing but a diagram to obtain the IOH. Look here, this is called IOH. IOH means what? High level output current. High level output current. The current that flows from the output in the logic 1 state. So this is nothing but a NAND gate. So in this case, when both the inputs are connected ground, so it produces output 1. As output 1 means you are getting the plus 5 volts. As maximum voltage means maximum current, and that maximum current can drive the particular gate. So without connecting this gate, whatever the current you are able to obtain at this point, that is nothing but the VOH. But to note down the VOH, it should always produce a output should be always high. In this case, as both the inputs are 0, voltage is 1, means maximum. Okay. IIH means what? This one. So high level input current. Current that flows into the input when the logic 1 voltage is applied of the particular input. Normally, as I said earlier, when this IOH is 1, that's why the output of this is connected to the input of this one. You are making the cascading. So this same current you are applying at the input of this one. This is nothing but the IIH. Okay, that is called high level input current. Okay, this can be able to obtain by making the cascading of 2 different circuits or 2 different gates. Cascading means what? Output of this gate is connected to the input of this gate. Okay, that's why it's called IIH. Okay, VOH and VIH we already defined. Then another one that is called VOL, we already defined. VIL max, we already defined. Then this is IOL, that is called low level output current. Current that flows from the output in the logic 0 state under the specified load condition. So look here. This is again the NAND gate, but in this case, you are applying the NAND gate out inputs are 1, 1. According to the property of NAND gate, when both the inputs are 1, it shows output 0. So 0 voltage means 0 current, and 0 current you are making the cascading of the another gate. So this IOL is the low level output current. Okay, that's why it is 0, and that we are driving the particular gate by making the cascading. IIL, low level input current. Current that flows into the input when logic 0 voltage is applied to the particular input, totally reverse as compared to the previous one. So this is again low value input current that can be able to make the cascading of the particular gate. Okay, and this is totally depends upon the fan out of the particular devices, because fan out is totally depends upon the value of your current parameter. Okay, maximum current of the particular output, it can be able to drive the number of gates. Same thing, electrical characteristics, that is called logic 1 and logic 0. VIH minimum value that should be recognized as logic 1. According to that, these are the 4 voltage parameters that we already defined in detail in the previous slide. Okay. Logic level and the voltage range. Typical acceptable voltage range for a positive logic 1 and logic 0 are given in the particular circuits. A logic gate with the input and the at the voltage level within the indeterminate range will produce an unacceptable or unpredictable output level. Okay, look here. This is for TTL because the operating voltage, this is for standard TTL. The operating voltage is 0 to 5. So this is logic 0, logic 1, and between this case, this is the indeterminate or unacceptable, unpredictable or unacceptable output 0.8 to 0.4. This is for CMOS. So again, if I consider standard CMOS 0 to 5, this is logic 1. These are the different values. If I am going to compare TTL CMOS, your logic 0, 0 to 8, here 0 to 1.5, while your logic 1 value start from 2.5 to 5. In this case, it is vary from 3.5 to 5, okay, because this is CMOS. I'm talking with respect to standard CMOS, and this range is nothing but the indeterminate or unacceptable or undeterminate voltage level of the particular TTL CMOS. Typical acceptable voltage range for positive 1 and logic 0 are given in the particular circuit. So we will stop here, then we will start the next video. In that case, we will define the noise figure, figure of merit, and the remaining parameter of TTL IC, and how to construct the particular 2-input TTL NAND gate. What is the basic difference between TTL and CMOS with respect to different parameters? Then we will switch toward the particular CMOS. Okay, we will stop here.